I gave the kids the clippers.
Oh, okay.
So the kids just get the clippers and they go all over it, and then Christine just tidies it up.
I think it looks fabulous because I will tell you, at least you've got solid hairline, so you know you've got some follicular metabolism up there, buddy. So yeah, very very good. The one thing I want to get out of you today is that you gave a tip one time to me as to how to follow the long head of the biceps. It was a clever thing. I had a patient this last week, in fact, just yesterday. I could not find that thing where it was supposed to be, and then I went back and I tried to find it medial as I was coming up to the subscap area, and I remember as I was doing it, I said, John said, just do this, and you can do that. And then that's my that's my little nugget of wisdom out of you today. I thought I saw the building density at the top of the pectoralis major, and I normally go there, and I thought I saw the building density of that, and I normally just wag on that as I go up, keeping it close to the greater tuberosity, and then I go up to the groove, and I follow it up in medial. I lose it right at the top of that, and it's either really isoechoic, and it's not there, but it would not give me any anisotropy, and I did not see it on long axis as far as strands, and so I remember you showed me something and said, this is a way of reinforcing, and he had an MRI, and uniquely there was no word from the MRI about anything. It didn't say it was there. It didn't say it wasn't there. It didn't say, and my guess is that they too had a hard time finding it, and so they said, oh, look at this shiny thing over here, look at this shiny thing over here, and never mentioned it at all.
Yeah, I remember once saying that a biceps was ruptured, and the MR coming back saying it was intact. And when I went back through the MR, it looked like there was only one slice that you might have been able to tell on the MR that it was in the joint. And when I followed it, it was what they were seeing was the upper strand of subscapularis. And it was just identified in there, and they kind of because it doesn't follow. MRs actually struggles to follow things around corners, and so if they don't get a good slice, and if it's a cheap MR, then they might not have taken sufficient slices, and I'm not sure why this is not. It's not searching the hard drive again. So let's see. Trying to. It's some reason. I might have to come back to that.
No worries. No worries.
When I plug it in, it sometimes takes a little while to get the.
Yeah. No problem at all. I would like to also, when there are opportunities that I can have to provide some support to whatever process you have going on there, I would like to have an opportunity to at least see a jar next to, I don't know what you guys call it in your bars over there, but where there's a common hand in something, there's also a jar nearby to throw some support shekels. Anyway,
can I share this with you? Actually,
look at this. I think I've already given you privilege.
Yeah,
did I?
I'm impressed. This is not what I was looking to share with you, but because this isn't a good example. But I've just been trying to get a video of distal bicep, not distal biceps, of proximal biceps. So yeah, here's the muscular tendinous junction down here, biceps. So you've got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going down as far as I like, but you see that teardrop normally. And then here, the biceps is coming down and it's resting against the greater tuberosity.
Yes.
You do you recognize the greater tuberosity?
Yes.
And all the way down to pec major.
That was something you helped me recognize.
Yeah. But that's as you're coming up towards the biceps. Come on, Beth, say hello and then off to bed, please.
Hi, Beth. It's always a pleasure to see your face, your rosy-cheeked face, and your wonderfully cool glasses.
Yep. Off you go to bed. So you've got. Well, why can't I grab this? Right. So as you go. So
can I hear how you put words to that those bony things in the groove? What do you say?
Yeah. This is just us. I don't usually spend a lot of time describing it. I'm just going to hold on one moment.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, Beth thinks you're nice.
Well, I hope her dad would not converse with somebody more than twice if he's not nice.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. No, what's happening is this is arthritis of a sort. I don't often describe arthritis around the biceps. Just because you see those changes and they're not always. It's not like the arthritis you see in more in the back of the shoulder typically, and you see it in the front of the shoulder. It's just difficult to image accurately in the front of the shoulder. So I don't spend a lot of time. But the osteophytes at the back of the shoulder are definitely clinically relevant, whereas people can be quite untidy. The OA changes can be quite untidy up at the top of the biceps, and the context isn't as clear how clinically significant it is. Now, this is obviously a tendinosis there, but the relevance, I think, is, and the point I was trying to make, and I have loads of video. I need to find out why. When I plug in a hard drive, the Mac doesn't see it straight away, and doesn't search it straight away. But that's something I just need to do my homework on. But it's as you follow the tendon up, if it drifts away from the
away from the humeral shaft.
Yeah, if it drifts away from the humeral shaft, then the chances are, depending on how far it drifts away, if it drifts away just a little bit, then often it's because it's reattached, it's ruptured and reattached to the lesser tuberosity. But you should essentially be able to follow it up, and then it all becomes a mess. But it definitely sort of blends with the greater tuberosity, lesser tuberosity, which is normally deformed at that point. If it goes any further, sort of west than that, so if it comes across the screen, continues to move across the screen away from the track up into the groove, then it's not ruptured, because it won't do that if it's ruptured. It's subluxed or dislocated.
Say that sequence again. If it's ruptured, what?
If it's ruptured, then it won't drift significantly past the lower tip of the lesser tuberosity.
Okay.
So it won't go any further west than that, or east. That's okay. Probably there. If it continues, if that sweep up has the biceps drifting further and further, then it isn't ruptured, and it is dislocated. And I'm sure you'd get that anyway. But sometimes when it's all a bit of a mess, you just go down. You've got this blob. It doesn't even look like the biceps at that point. But if that track of long-headed biceps is going significant, moving continuously to the side, rather than just drifting slightly away.
You
Now, if
would
you take
still
this-
have you would have the aggregate of a brighter cylinder as you come up, and it would stay medial, and it would stay true to where you're following it, if it was just dislocated and not ruptured.
If it's dislocated, you sometimes get a very dark tendon. So and it's a bit ambiguous as to whether it's actually ruptured. But if that, whatever you've identified as muscular tendinous junction, comes away from the greater tuberosity, then it isn't ruptured. It's just dislocated and abnormal with it. Whereas if it stays reasonably close to the greater tuberosity, but not tight against it, then as you follow it up, if here those fibers just seem to end in a bit of bone there, then it's ruptured and reattached into the groove.
Oh, okay. That's what you were saying about reattached
Yes.
in the groove.
It's really those three pathology. You have pathology of the tendon, but it's intact coming up below the groove. You've got pathology and it's slightly medially deviated, and it's probably ruptured and reattached onto the lesser tuberosity or in that area. And then if it comes any further across, then even if it's difficult to follow, which it can be, then you can be pretty certain that it isn't ruptured and that it's fully dislocated.
In your mind, does the fiber bundle of the long head of the biceps move much from a proximal to distal? Does it move much like this on the humeral head when a person is doing this? Because I'm assuming it's fixated because it goes up and over to the glenoid, the top of the glenoid. But
yeah.
As a person does, that movement like this, is the head doing this?
Yeah.
And with the sharp points that I can see, at least, I don't know if they're sharp points or if there's just debris of bony junk, it seems like they could be developing a process of bifurcation of those of that collagen.
Yeah, definitely. That is almost certainly going on. As you take the arm back into extension, particularly when it's subluxed like it is, it's starting to go. The pulley is starting to break down in this case because the tendon is wrapping around there. You can see it starting to stretch, and a bit like if you imagine that almost like the C shape of your peroneus brevis, it's being stretched and damaged that way.
Show me the ligament with your cursor that you said you can see it stretched there.
No, that shape, that C shape.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Thing there, and the pulley is affected by that. I wouldn't necessarily identify any particular part of that pulley and say this is this and this is this, but that is going to be part of the transverse ligaments or the coracohumeral ligament. These fibers here.
Superior glenohumeral ligament, CHL. Yeah. Very interesting. All right. I just, when I still have to drop my report to the doctors. So I'm going to simply say tendon is difficult to see in the groove and may represent medial translation or even the possibility of rupture.
Have you got a video?
I do, but you scare me, John.
Just show it.
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick, and I don't know how to do it. If I try to take this over, share, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing.
Hang on, I'll stop sharing. Probably helps. Yeah.
Are you seeing anything That's on my screen here. Am I circling a triangle? That's all right. So this, in my mind, not almost. I don't know whether you're. Once I get started here, I'm doing a refresh screen.
Yeah.
Are you back here? And if I go like this, are you seeing any movement at all, John?
Yep.
Okay, so my eyes are seeing here. My eyes are seeing lesser.
Yep.
Over here, and I'm looking desperately for some form of density in here as I go up and over. I threw the probe medial, trying to look for something coming back, and this again, this is now back in a loop. So I saw. Let me see if I can actually bring this like cool kids can. I'm going to bring it back to here. I thought I saw here the density of the long head of the biceps, and I know I need to make sure and spin it as I go up, but I'm trying to come out of that. I first start to see a little spur over here, looking for some level of density here. I still think I see some fiber here, but I totally lose it when I get up here. And normally it flattens out and lets me turn medial on it to follow it up. And now I'm subscapularis here. Let me see if I refine any more here. Now I'm actually on subscapularis up at the top. I'm trying. This is long axis subscapularis. This coracoid up in here, and at least that's what I think, John.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go to the top of the subscapularis to look and see if I can differentiate the long head of the biceps up there. Does that make sense?
You go to the first video again.
I'm going to go back to this one here.
Yeah, but before you play it,
okay.
When you see the lesser tuberosity,
yes.
Yeah, imagine that the biceps fibers are inserting into it, and then look at it again, just there, just as you come back a bit. That, keep going, keep going, keep going.
I'm coming back.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, then if you let it go again. Oh yeah, I'm getting that. I'm only getting odd frames.
Oh crud! Sorry.
That's all right. If you do it again, it'll work fine. It's just it was just, that's what occasion it does when it buffers. If you let that go, it should be fine. Yeah. So you see the biceps there. You do see that sort of nipple shape to the edge of the thing? Yeah. I am seeing what appears to be the biceps just inserting into there, but I don't see enough of it before then. It looks like you just haven't you haven't rotated the probe quite far enough downwards.
I have not kept the incidence on the fibers well enough to refine the long head.
I think it's what happens is that as you get past the humeral head going inferiorly, the fibers actually angle relatively steeply down.
I've got to throw the butt end of my probe down a little lower and come up to okay.
Yeah, and I think what it suggests to me is that slight medial, as you come up, do you see how it's slightly drifted away from the greater tuberosity? And I think it's inserting into that like
right on the slope going up to there. See, here's the thing that continues to remind me. You only see what you're looking for, and you only look for what you know. And in the three entities that you gave me, one of which held a fairly strong position, which is there could have been a disruption in the fibers and it has adhesed to the lesser tuberosity. The fact that exists, I have to plug in up here for me, or all of a sudden I lose this thing and I'm up there going, what happened to that? And so
also when you look back, and when you go back to the early stages, the first few seconds, when you see the groove, yeah, when you look in the groove, as you come up, you get a nice image around here. And yeah, what that does as you come up, there's a certain concavity to it, which again suggests that what you're seeing inside there isn't a tendon. See, there's no thickness there. Yeah, just there. You're not really seeing. You're not seeing a ball inside that.
Yes.
That pocket.
Yes. Yeah. And then at the top, it's totally gone. And when I got here, all I could hear was John saying, "So do you see this? This is how you find out whether that goes and stays in the groove." And I'm going, "No, my brain hears this, but I don't have any videos of John saying." So I'm going to give it back to you, because that was one of my troubles today. However, this guy, the guy I'm imaging here, was the dean, the head of family medicine residence for 35 years at University of Washington. Yeah. And I did him pretty well, because I found a paralabral cyst, and it was under his infraspinatus, and it made me look pretty good, John. And with his endorsement, I've got some of these clinics on the islands near me that that didn't give me the time of day, and I'm gonna have to try to tell this guy, "Hey, you get me one day a month up there." And anyway, I want to listen to what you've had on your list. I'm gonna give it back to you here.
We've been a bit under the cosh recently, so I'm not as up to date.
What was the? Oh yes, you have under the cot. That means you're sick.
No, just there's been just too much to do. Too much with the children, with work, with everything. So